talk a little bit about like what that was like learning that for you and like how it's kind of shaped your mentality on that subject now?
Yeah. So when I first heard about like cultural appropriation with like white girls wearing braids, I didn't get it, honestly, because I used to braid white girls' hair for money when I was little. So I was like, whatever. Like, that's how even today I'll braid like all my friends' hair for money. You know what I mean?
I know, Queen. You braided mine.
Yes. So I never looked at it that way. Yeah. I'm just like, whatever. But I definitely looked into it because I was going to an event. I was going to Babetown Fest and I was going to be...
Can you say that again? You were going where?
Babetown Fest.
Yeah.
And I needed to... I needed to... be a little aware of that.
Okay.
Not a little. I needed to be aware of it.
Okay.
And I needed to be aware of like, you know, I didn't want any of my friends to get like, you know, pounded on social media for this. So I learned that, you know, it's more of like the fact that Black women can't really... And this makes sense because this is true in the stripper industry too.
Yeah.
As a Black woman, I usually have to look like a Barbie doll when I go audition for clubs to get in. Like I won't get hired if I'm just wearing like my little fro. Times are changing, but when I first started, it was not like that. Like I couldn't get, they wouldn't hire me if I was wearing a fro or if like I didn't have a weave in my hair. I used to work at Hooters and I took my weave out and like a month later, they were like, you don't meet the Hooters like, you know, standards, so you have to go.
No way. And they fired you for taking your weave out?
Yes.
What?
Yes. So because they kept asking me, they're like, oh, you're gonna put your hair back in? And I'm like, nah. And I had a relaxed like hair or whatever. I didn't care. But
what?
Society just has pressure on Black women to like look a certain way. And I know certain companies have changed that. Like, I mean, I have dreads in my hair right now, and if I wanted to go get hired somewhere, like if there was another Black girl next to me and her hair was pressed and buttered, they would like probably hire her over me because I like don't fit a certain image because my hair is in its natural like state. So I understood. That's what I got from it. And that's why I understand why it's like such a big deal when like white girls wear braids, because it's a privilege for them to wear the braids because they look cool. They look hot. And then when we wear them, we're ghetto. And, you know, we're loud and we just get this huge stereotype pushed on us. And once I saw that, and especially because I can relate to it, I realized like, but I still feel like, you know, it's a part of my culture that I wanted to share.
Right.
That's what my contribution to that festival was, you know, I wanted to share my culture, and it was we were all exchanging our gifts and our cultures between each other.
Right.
So I feel like that's different when the exchange is equal, but when people do things and the exchange is not, or you're not just aware of what's going on, I think that's when it becomes an issue.
Okay. Like when they're not aware of how they're maybe disrespecting the culture by dressing that way, or
it's
you know,
like
maybe
walking around like a geisha and knowing nothing about the history, you know.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Or like wearing, what's it called, a yarmulke, just as a fashion statement. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this looks cute. Look at me and my yarmulke, me and my friends.
I don't think anyone's ever.
I don't think everyone's
wearing a yarmulke to look cute. But
you never know,
girl. It's true. you don't ever know. Yeah.
Exactly.
There were a lot of weird trends in the 90s. So
yeah, and braids aren't necessarily like a Black girl thing. It's an everybody thing. But I mean, you know, like.
Sure, but there's a certain way, right? That you braid your hair. Yeah. So like white girls, it's like okay to have French braids.
Yeah.
But not like the cornrows.
Cornrows with crazy things and stuff like that. Or I personally don't mind sharing that bit of my culture. But what I also remind people of is you can't base like an opinion of a culture off of one person. A culture is not one person. It's a whole bunch of people.
Right.
So I'm like, although I don't care, other people might care. One person might not care if you wear a yarmulke as a fashion statement, but the other part of the culture might care.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of goes back to people are going to say what they're going to say based on their own mentality and experiences and situations. Yeah. And you can't please everybody.
Right.
Blah, blah.
Like I feel like it kind of goes back to that viewpoint of like, I just look at things so differently now. I'm just like, I rather look at the bigger picture and I see bigger goals. Like I would love to share our culture more with people. I think it helps people become more educated about it. I'm like, I'd rather share braids with people and then be like, oh yeah, back in the day, this is what they used to do.
Yeah.
And I'd rather do that and share my culture.
And talk about like why they started braiding their hair and like how, what it mean. Does it, and I don't know, like, does it mean something to them? Was it out of functionality? Was it as a style?
It was more like a style, just because like your hair, like just being out, we're so socialized. I feel like it's not as bad as it used to be, but when I was younger, definitely, like if you walked around with an afro, your hair was nappy.
Got it.
And that's not cute. Your edges couldn't be laid or anything. Not like this, like how my hair looks right now with these dreads and my edges aren't like
Queen,
laid down.
I think you look beautiful just the way you are.
Thank you. I'm rocking it. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of goals, you are, besides being a stripper, you have been working on some other things in your life.
Definitely.
And I want to know all about it. I want you to tell me everything. I know that you're writing screenplays, you're a singer, you're an actor. So yeah, just like free ball it, man. Like, tell me everything.
Well, I just started screenwriting. I've been writing my entire life.
Okay.
And I wrote a TV pilot that was a stripper mockumentary. It's basically The Office in a strip club.
That's like, okay, like my wet dream. Like literally I might be wet right now. I can't tell if it's my period or I'm actually wet. But yeah, like The Office is my all-time favorite show and stripping is my all-time favorite job. So
awesome.
Like, can I get like a consulting role on this show?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, you're in.
Fuck yeah. All right, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, it's good. I love hearing about it. You know, showering me with all your compliments. It's called The Day Shift Show, and I plan on turning that into a web series. But what came out of it was an opportunity for me to learn more about screenwriting. I now have a mentor, and she's teaching me how to write my first TV pilot.
Okay.
And we're going to pitch it, and we're going to do everything.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
What do you mean we're going to do everything? What does that mean?
That means that we are going to write. She's going to help me write it.
Okay.
And edit. And then we're going to film it or make a short film of it.
Oh, so you're like literally doing all the work yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
She's teaching. We're going through the whole routine of it. And I'm so excited to be there to like pitch it and like just see this process through.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to write as many movies as I can and submitting them to a lot of fellowships for different entertainment companies.
How many movies have you written so far?
Just one.
Okay. It's all right. We're just getting
that
started.
One I can't even use. It's like based off of Mortal Kombat and it's called Scorpion's Revenge. So the origins of Scorpion.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
So, and also I had like an idea for a live action Sailor Moon, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
But, so I'm working on that. And my boyfriend's a music producer. Mm-hmm. So we've been working together. He's been teaching me a lot about production, and I've been learning how to sample music, which is where I'll sing gospel chords, and then he'll take the gospel chords and he'll like pitch them up or speed them up or slow them down or do some cool stuff to it.
Okay.
And he'll take a piece of it and turn that into an entire beat.
Amazing.
So I'm also learning how to do that.
Okay.
Lots of education in 2019.
Do that as far as like editing?
Production.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, music production. And last but not least, I covered everything. So singing, acting, along with my screenwriting. And there was one. I am also a committed committee member of Babetown Fest.
Yes, you are.
It's a wonderful female empowerment retreat that we do every single year. Yeah. It's amazing. Talk about transformation. That's like the most amazing retreat you can possibly go to. You're just around women, and they're all like not just like any woman. They're all bosses, and they're all strong and powerful, and we literally just feel so comfortable. It feels like a family. Like you walk away with like a new family. Yeah. I'm still friends with a lot of the girls from the festival. I'm just really excited for 2020. Yes. I'm so excited for this.
Yes. It sounds awesome. Yes. I'm also excited to know more about that event. Psych, I'm on the committed committee. But amazing. Yes. Yeah, you're right. That is transformative. It's like it's such an amazing experience every time.
It's refreshing. It's like a feminine baptizing.
You know, what Danielle's not actually saying is that she runs a social media account, and I love the quotes that you find for every post on the Babetown Fest Instagram account, which is at Babetown Fest, by the way, if you want to follow that. And you just find these really female empowering type quotes. And I think that they're just so well suited to everything you choose. And I'm always like in awe of how well you choose the things to write and like express that event. Thank really
you
amazing.
Very much. See,
You're
that's
welcome.
why I'm writing.
Yes. Oh yeah, duh. That makes so much sense. I get it now. You're a writer. Oh my God. I want to really quickly circle back to like the climate in the strip clubs and like what you've been feeling on a personal level, like from your own perspective. Because listen, I could talk for like 5 hours on my own perspective of the climate inside the strip clubs, but I'm immersed in what's going on in the strip clubs in Los Angeles. And the climate currently is deplorable from owners and managers to strippers and how they're treating their workers. But you're not learning as much about it, but you still feel it. You still see and know what's going on. So I'm really interested in, like, from a fresh perspective, what you're seeing and feeling about the current climate.
Well, what I'm definitely seeing is mandatory tips, and it's kind of always like been that way, and it shouldn't be. It's very frustrating, and I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to even and they're not allowed to even tell us what to tip or how to tip or who we should tip. Because at the end of the day, it's like you should be getting paid like by the hour, have some kind of salary. And it's not fair that I'm up here dancing. That's like literally, what if a ballerina had to tip out everybody in the fucking theater? Right.
So just for our audience that like might not know what mandatory tipping is, can you just explain that to someone who's like, it's their first time?
Okay, so you work a shift at the club, and at the end of the night, you go to the back and you tip out multiple people, such as bartenders, security guards, at some clubs, the manager.
I know.
The doorman, the valet, and they expect a hefty tip or else they do not function properly within their jobs.
Right.
So that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, so why do you think... Why are we tipping these people? If somebody I know, listen, I know all the answers, but for somebody who has no clue, why do you have to tip the bartender and the bouncer and the manager and everybody else?
Honestly, because if you don't, you are cut. You will find yourself jobless and on the streets.
And eating ramen for
breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for sure. I know so many ramen recipes, it's ridiculous. But definitely I've seen girls go who don't get their shifts cut if they're not tipping properly.
But that's not like that's not a real reason. And I'm playing devil's advocate right now. Why do the strippers need to tip the bartenders? Why is that mandatory? Besides you get cut or you get hassled, why do you have to tip the bartenders and the bouncers?
I don't think I should have to tip them at all, to be quite honest, but they claim like they're looking out for us, they're watching out for us. I feel like it's so they can do their jobs. Like if you tip a certain security guard a certain amount of money, they're going to look out for you extra. They're going to do their job instead of look the other way like some of them do. A lot of them do. And bartenders, I don't even know why we're tipping bartenders. I don't get it.
They make so much money.
They make so much money as it is. You're getting paid usually above minimum wage. And then on top of that, you're making tips.
They make tips too, yeah.
If anything, it makes sense if you tip us.
Yeah, because we're the reason people are coming here.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You're right, girl. You're right.
Yes.
Why isn't it? They should be tipping us. We do more work for them than the barbacks do.
I got into an argument with a bartender once because of this, and I was kind of drunk, and I meant not to.
Were you?
Yes, I wasn't trying to start a fire, but I kind of did, and then I went back and just was like, my bad. I didn't mean to come at you heavy. Those are my feelings.
Sure.
Do with them what you will.
Right.
But I got an argument with her because I was like, this bar would be nothing without the dancers. And she's like, yes, it would. I mean, it's Jumbo's Clown Room. And I'm like, but what is Jumbo's Clown Room? It's a bikini bar. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, literally, like, I'm like, you guys don't even have like all the good ass liquor here. You guys would be actually a shitty bar.